Yeah, our cameras, just so you know, I'd let the other two commissioners know, the camera's not working, but the audio is today. So see how the camera's kind of turned towards the wall?
Yeah,
So.
good.
Okay.
We can't like physically move it? No. We can't even like put like it's just not. Can we put something like on YouTube to let people know that we realize it's an issue?
Yeah, that's a good point. Could we do that, Joe? Can you maybe have Carrie or somebody put a note on YouTube, like in the comments section, just letting them, like the public know that we're aware? Okay, awesome. That's a great suggestion.
Good morning, everyone. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The prayer today is a prayer to the people. When you update yourself with the Word of God, the Holy Spirit will upgrade you with the power of God. Amen. Amy?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Does anyone in the audience have any comments they'd like to make on an item on the agenda? Okay, thank you very much. Item 2. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 26-113, recognizing and commending Connor Talty for his courageous and life-saving actions saving his grandmother.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay.
So,
Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spitaleri?
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey?
Aye.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
and I think we have some special guests here. Should everyone
Yes.
come forward? You can bring your mom, Connor. Yeah, and your dad if you want.
So on June 7th, the world recognized a new hero. Connor here, which we found out later after the fact, helped save his grandmother from drowning. We did not know this at the time of the call. We went to the call and we did what we do and we took care of things. And as I was leaving, I had to shuffle some vehicles around real quick. And I saw this little guy in the garage crying and I said, you're fine, Grandma's gonna be fine. So I didn't realize that Grandma was gonna be fine because of him. So good job. So on behalf of the Montville Fire Department, we'd like to recognize you and make you an honorary member. So you just have to say a little oath for us. Hold your hand up.
Wait, should we get this on video? I think this is like a life moment. Hold on one second. Let's get this on video for you since it's not streamed, okay? It's very important.
All right, if you promise to take care of anyone smaller than you, or that is unable to take care of themselves, do you always promise to get a hold of anybody that can help you out, your parents or another adult? Yet? Excellent. Then it comes to every firefighter on the department, and it's a real one. It's not this is now, you are an honorary member of the Montville Fire Department. You can come join our cadet program, maybe become a firefighter and a medic yourself.
His big brother's becoming a firefighter.
Excellent. Congratulations, and welcome aboard.
This thing is heavy.
Thank you.
You want to get some photos?
Yeah, should we?
Yeah, let's do some photos. You could put it on.
Where's the resolution? That works.
Oh, wow.
Work has something for you as well.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, buddy. Good job, well done. That is happy.
Thanks.
How about mom and dad? Do we want to get mom and dad in there too? Okay. We'll make sure we get those photos over to you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, he's not. That's so cute. That's awesome.
Okay, moving on to item number 3, the financials on.
All downhill from here.
I know. I need some tissues. On July 15th, I approved a supplemental appropriation from the commissioners in the Building Improvement Fund Hill Projects account to accommodate an additional encumbrance. And that's all for 13. I mean, for number 3, sorry. Item 4, which is my report. On July 15th for Community and Economic Development, I accepted and approved the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund Semi-Annual Report and the Housing Revolving Loan Fund Program Income Report for the period of January 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2026, and further authorize the electronic submissions of these reports. Also on July 15th, I concurred with the Thompson Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on the liquor license being requested by Coolney Motor Sports Park LLC, Coolney Motor Sports Park located at 8233 Sidley Road, Thompson, Ohio, OCT NEW 10004830-2. And that's all for item number 4.
Okay, thank you, Amy. We're going to combine 5, 6, and 7. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes of the meeting February 24th, February 26th, and July.
Don't do 7.
Don't do 7?
It's financial.
Oh, okay. It was changed, yeah.
We're just gonna,
Change the agenda, okay.
So I'll move to approve the minutes from February 24th and February 26th.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady. Commissioner DeWort.
Yes. Financials.
Morning, Commissioners. Adrian Gorton with the Commissioner's Office. So today's financials include an appropriations transfer from the Commissioner's miscellaneous contingency account to Special Counsel General for an encumbrance increase. Among the encumbrances is a then and now from the Commissioner's Office to Millstone Management Group for the Prosecutor's Office remodel projects costs that were not previously encumbered. There's a contract purchase order from Maintenance to Valley Ford Truck for the purchase of a new Ford Ranger replacement vehicle. The old one will be auctioned. Among the vouchers is $46,358 from the Commissioners to Lake Geauga Recovery Centers for the 2026 Jail Treatment Program expenses, and $39,502.85 from the Recorder to Fiddler Technologies for equipment and software for the SB 94 scam project, making documents from 1980 to the present available online.
And then the financials.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Bricky.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
And then the next item on the agenda here is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve an increase for the engagement agreement with Squire Patton Boggs LLP for outside legal counsel related to bonds, filing tax documents, and additional assistance for matters relating to TIFs in the amount of $2,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $10,550 without prior approval from the Board.
I move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Bricky.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adrian.
No one here.
Engineer's
Angie's
Office.
here. Oh.
Morning, Commissioners. Item 9. changed because it was 10 on mine.
It's the one that's on the table. It's revised.
Yeah. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board acknowledge receipt of the Certificate of Estimated Property Tax Revenue from the County Auditor's Office dated May 22nd, 2026, regarding the renewal of 2 5/10 2.5 Mills Road and Bridge levy.
So Andy, last time you came before us, I asked if this was a qualified levy or a non-qualified levy, and you weren't sure, but from this paperwork, it appears it's a qualified levy.
That's my
You
understanding
agree?
as well.
Okay. I'll move to approve item number 9.
Second.
Any discussion? I have one question. This has been on for about 12 years now, hasn't it?
1986.
Okay, 86.
We've had a road levy since 1986. And I started in 96. And that's probably the reason I was hired, because there was funding available to hire engineers in-house, which I heard stories about the old days, which were interesting at best. But what we know today versus what was then is two different animals, for sure. So,
Thank you. Call for vote?
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
number 10. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute Resolution 26-115, declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation as authorized by sections 5705.03, 5705.19, and 5705.25 of the Ohio Revised Code for the renewal of 2 5/10 2.5 mills levy for general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in Geauga County.
Andy, for, people that haven't been following us so far, could you just talk a little bit about how important this levy is to your office?
The engineer's office road and bridge levy is approximately 27%, 30%, somewhere in there of our operating budget. What it does, what it allows us to do, and it's going back to 1986, is to, number one, invest in our infrastructure, that we see and feel the level of service that every day when we drive our roads. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, and especially when we leave our county, it's noticeable. That investment over time, yes, it's a lot of money. What the road levy allows us to do is be used as a match for federal and other grants. For example, Bundiesburg Road Bridge Project, which happened 3-4 years ago now, I think we were like $200,000 leveraged us $2 million in federal funds for that project. That's something that is hard to explain to people. Well, it's just a straight tax of money in, money out. It allows us to obtain funding for projects that is outside funding that comes into our county. The other thing I like to talk about with the road levy being from 1986, how it was to what it is we are in a proactive maintenance role. There's awards out there for perpetual pavement. What that means is the subbase, the bottom layers of the pavement, they might be 50 years old. Why? Because you're constantly maintaining the surface, keeping the water out. There's awards that are presented to that, and I think we actually got one 10 years ago or more, probably more. You don't let the pavement fail to a point where your foundation is destroyed, where you have to rebuild the whole road. Very expensive. Construction costs aren't linear. They're exponential. Oil, fuel, materials. What we are in, like I said, we are in a maintenance mode. I will, say the levy changes, goes away, because there's a potential for that. It's always being talked about. We would go into a reactive maintenance, where we would, instead of being 8, I think we do 8 projects a year on average with the road levy money, we might see 1 to 2, and that's proactive maintenance type project, resurfacing, not reconstruction. Over time, without the levy or that funding, we would see a level of service slowly taper off. We would go into a reactionary maintenance program. We'd probably hire more highway workers. We do more maintenance work, repair as the deterioration over time happens. We live in northeastern Ohio. It snows, it freezes. We put salt on the road to keep our trucks going, keep America moving. So there's many facets to it. It's hard to summarize them all in an exact what would happen, how it would work. We wouldn't probably cut staff. We'd probably have to hire more because there'd be more reactive maintenance to do. We hire contractors that are qualified. lowest and best manage that money into the infrastructure, the level of service that we see, that we have. We've built it up over the years. Over time, maintenance is constant. The old commercial, right? Rest never sleeps. It's true. Whether it's your body, your house, your roads, your trucks, it's always there. It'll never go away. Safety is number one. Snow and ice is number one. Safe roads, that's number one. Will the levy affect that? No, safety is number one. We will always do our job to keep the roads safe, open for commerce, and obviously for the traveling public. I don't know if that answers the question,
No,
or I just went all
absolutely. I
over
mean,
the place, but those
yeah, I
are the
think-
thoughts in my head when
Yeah, I
I
think
get
that's
asked that.
helpful too
Yeah.
for people to understand that if you approve the levy, it's not just our local tax dollars that are going into that pot to improve the roads and the bridges, but then because it's a qualified levy, we also receive money from the state, and then you're able to apply for grants and then use that local money for matches.
Correct.
Is that a good summary of that, at least that first part of
That's
the
correct. This
equation?
is a renewal of an existing levy. That's what this is for, and that money stays in the county.
Okay. I'll move to approve item number 10.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
So, Board, while Michelle's making her way up here, I'll just give a little background. So, item number 11 is really a second partnership with Veteran Services. We're working towards kind of a semi-annual events with them, right? Every 6 months or so, we work with them to support what they're doing. Obviously, we had our military signing day in May, and then we'd like to do something in the fall around Veterans Day. So I will let you guys open up, and then we could talk more about that.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Pemberton, Director of Geauga County Veteran Services.
Good morning, Bill Smith, Vice President and Commissioner.
Number 11 is Veteran Service Commission present the information, establish the Geauga County Veterans and Public Service Recognition Program, and further request the Board to approve and execute a letter to the Geauga County elected officials and department directors and about continuing the mission through public service and the Veterans Service Recognition Campaign. To sum this up, is the program would honor the county employees for their commitment to not only their military service, but their continued commitment to the county. This also provides the opportunity to identify the veterans, the employees, and contact them with their potential benefits. This would also possibly decrease some of the expenses for insurances and stuff like that, as the veterans could potentially be getting that from the VA. So it's a twofold. But we would like to create these little veterans in public service.
You guys all look so cute. all the veterans, so youthful, little baby faces.
Yeah, right?
Everyone should see Michelle's particularly. I thought you had the best picture.
And we would hang these hopefully downstairs where everybody can see them, or in each department where the directors allow. And this way they can recognize those veterans and just, thank them for their service and continued dedication.
I do think it should say on the poster maybe the department and the person's position, just so that.
Down at the very bottom, maybe, and then it says Veteran Services.
Yeah, I was
Would
thinking
you
like her role
Yes,
in Veteran
absolutely.
Services. Yeah, like for yours,
Absolutely.
Director or Veteran Services. That's my only suggestion.
She did that with mine. She did that with mine.
county
So it says like county administrator at the bottom.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I had to change it to Marine
I know, she
Corps.
told me that this morning. I got the old one.
I know.
Which branch did you put her in instead?
I said USMC instead
Oh,
of
okay.
Marine Corps.
I got it.
So-
I got it.
And I'm still waiting for Mark Jemison's picture.
I know. I noticed he was not in the deck. Unfortunately, I wanted to see a baby Mark picture.
Right?
But I think that's a really nice program, and it is kind of fun seeing you guys in uniform. So I'll move to approve the letter of number 11.
Second.
Any discussion? I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Call for a vote.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Commissioner Spudler? Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alyssa Steinhoff, Financial Administrator with Job and Family Services. I am here today on behalf of Director Swenson, who unfortunately couldn't be here this morning. Agenda item number 12 is the Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 26-116, assigning authority to Craig Swenson, Executive Director of Geauga County Job and Family Services, to act as the Geauga County Board of Commissioners designee for approving inter-county adjustments of allocated funds for the period July 21, 2026 through June 30th, 2031. This resolution serves to maximize available resources for Job and Family Services. The language in it is essentially a mirror of what we presented last time we were here back in 2021. And it really allows us to not only prevent a dip into our own local reserves to fund services, it also allows us to be a good neighbor for other counties as well. We scratch their back, they scratch ours. And in the past 5 years, with the previous resolution, we were able to make trades with 15 different counties because of this in place. And it does keep those transactions timely for us, because oftentimes we're making these trades at the end of a grant cycle when the grant is closing and liquidating. And so it allows us to do these very timely as the need comes up and we identify that we have extra resources that we're not going to be able to spend, which would be at risk of going back to the state. We can offer them up to other counties and see funds in return for that, things that we can actually make use out of. And typically, these are net zero trades where it's a dollar for dollar transaction. Over the past 5 years, we've actually been on the positive side of these trades by over $8,000.
Like we've received more, or we've gotten rid of more?
We've received more
Oh, no
than we've
kidding.
actually given
That
up.
shocks me.
The majority of our trades are net zero, where it's a dollar for dollar trade across allocations. But in the overall scheme of what we've done in the last 5 years, we've received more than we've given up. So are there any questions on?
So just so I understand, so if we have a grant for, that's where it's earmarked for, X, Y, Z, and we're not going to use that money and another county is, and then perhaps we're running low on a grant, a different grant, then there's this trading that kind of happens within the region or within the state?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so through the contacts that I have with my counterparts at other JFSs, we're able to identify what those needs are. And then I bring those to Director Swenson. We discuss kind of the best usage of the dollars to see if we have a way to use them in Geauga, and if we don't, could they be a good bargaining chip for us to get dollars that we can use. So this is a really helpful process for JFS.
Understood. Thanks for explaining that.
So would this just be within Area Workforce 19?
This is actually giving us the ability to do inter-county transfers statewide. So this could be with Mercer County, it could be with Franklin, it could be Lucas. Those are 3 of the examples that we've traded with over the last 5 years. It's been 15 different counties in total over the past 5 years.
And sometimes, since I sit on the NOGCOG board, the situation that Geauga County has, our unemployment is always lower than the Area 19. And so we have to give money back. But I think, and I always kid the other commissioners that we have the best workers in Geauga County. That's why we have a low unemployment rate.
We do. Just for clarification, with the NOGCOG board in Area 19, Area 19 is the fiscal agent for those dollars, and so we can't directly control the trades of those workforce dollars. That's something that Craig Cernick, as the NOGCOG executive director, would broker. But we have traded through this process with Ashtabula County as well.
And in Area 19, at NOGCOG, we all get along just fine, so.
We do.
It's not yelling and screaming and stuff like that, so. Okay. Thanks for the explanation.
I'll move to approve item number 12.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Nick Goris, Water Resources. Item on the agenda is requesting the board grant permission to advertise for bids for sludge, biosolids, and filter bed sand disposal to be held on Wednesday, August 12th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Notice of this bid opening will be advertised on July 23rd, July 30th, and on the county website. It's a 3-year request, similar to our last sludge hauling request, was a 3-year term. Third-party vendor, most likely, usually they'll take it, ends up in a landfill. by permit, so.
I'll move to approve item number 13.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Kim Leininger with Geauga Growth Partnership. I have with me John Eppricht, who's our former board chair and family owner of Great Lakes Cheese. I also have with me in the audience Lee Imhoff, a former board member, and Carl Boyles, who is our VP of Operations with GGP. Before we start with any questions, I have some prepared comments that I'd like to run through, if that's okay. I just really want to be clear about why we're here, why GGP is here. We're not here to ask you to approve a grant. We're not here to ask you to hire another employee, but we're here because we believe Geauga County really has an opportunity to fundamentally strengthen how we do and approach economic development, and we believe we can build that together with Geauga County. For the past 16 years, Geauga Growth Partnership has had the privilege of serving as Geauga County's designated local economic development organization, and every day we work with local employers, entrepreneurs, educators, workforce partners, Team NEO, Jobs Ohio, Magnet, and community leaders to understand the challenges and opportunities facing our local businesses. Through that work, one thing has become increasingly clear. We have many organizations doing excellent work, but often we're working independently and in silos rather than through one coordinated system. The opportunity before us is not to create another organization or another program, but to bring us together to create a coordinated economic development operating system that aligns our county, our shared efforts, our vision, and our goals into one common vision for Geauga County. A key part of this vision is the creation of a Geauga County Economic Development Council co-led by the county and GGP that brings together public and private partners to align priorities, coordinate investments, and provide shared accountability for economic development outcomes. That's why we're here today. Economic development has changed dramatically over the past decade and dramatically since truly COVID. Communities are no longer competing simply because they have available or attractive tax structures. They compete because they're organized and they're ready. They have coordinated leadership, strong business relationships, prepared development sites, workforce strategies, and the ability to move quickly when opportunities arise. Geauga County already has tremendous strengths. We have incredibly innovative manufacturing companies, successful small businesses, outstanding schools, and an exceptional quality of life. And our committed public leaders. We have regional partners that many communities and many states, and I would say, John, you've even commented on how incredible it is to do work here in Geauga County with the local systems that we have. The question isn't whether we have the assets. The question is whether we are really coordinating those assets as effectively as we can. I also want to address something else that I've heard in conversations around the county, because I really think it's important to put this on the table. There seems to be an impression, and anytime I talk about economic development, people say, we don't want an Amazon warehouse, and we don't want, right? Economic development does not mean bringing in large numbers of new businesses, increasing development everywhere, and changing the rural character that makes Geauga County such a great place to live. I want to be clear, that is not what we are proposing. GGP's mission has never been growth for growth's sake. Our mission is to strengthen Geauga County's economy while preserving the qualities that make this community unique. The overwhelming majority of our work is focused on helping the businesses that are already here to become stronger and more competitive. When a manufacturer adds a production line, when a family-owned company expands and adds a new workforce, when a local employer finds the workforce they need, when we help a business secure a grant through the state, through Jobs Ohio, that is economic development. Those businesses already employ our residents, they already support our schools, our nonprofits, and they pay taxes that support our county services. Helping those companies succeed is one of the best ways that we can all preserve the community we all value. In fact, none of our economic development work begins with the businesses that have already chosen Geauga County as their home. Our first priority is helping them to grow and to stay here and to innovate in that growth. When we do talk about attracting investment, we're talking about being intentional. It's really about businesses that fit Geauga County, businesses that complete our current existing economy, those that create quality, family-sustaining jobs, and those that respect our community and our values. Businesses that will strengthen, not change who we are. Preserving farmland, open space, and rural character is not in conflict with economic development. In fact, they really are complementary. A strong economy provides a tax base necessary to preserve the very things our residents care about. So the question is not whether Geauga County should grow. I believe the question is, how do we grow? Do we simply react to opportunities that arise, or do we intentionally guide economic development in a way that reflects our values and protects our future? The vision behind the initiative, That's the vision behind the initiative. Before I go any further, I also want to address one other question that I know has been raised. Why was Geauga County included in the Cleveland Foundation proposal? So I know I communicated that answer, but I also wanted to address it here because it really is straightforward. Over the past several months, GGP has had productive conversations with two commissioners, the county administrator and the assistant county administrator, about exploring, no decisions were made, this partnership around economic development. Those conversations were encouraging, and there was a genuine interest in continuing the discussion. At the same time, the Cleveland Foundation announced their grant opportunity with a submission and deadline that could not wait for the conversations to be complete. So we had two choices. We could wait, miss the opportunity, and potentially lose a catalytic philanthropic investment, or we could submit the proposal that accurately reflected where the discussion stood. So we chose to go with the second option. Please know that proposal does not commit the commissioners or the county to any type of funding. It simply identifies a partnership with Geauga County as the preferred implementation partner in this model, making it clear that GGP intends to move forward because this initiative is one of our highest strategic priorities. The proposal was never intended to speak on behalf of the commissioners. It was intended to preserve the opportunity while allowing our conversations to continue. The reason the Cleveland Foundation expressed interest in this proposal is not simply about adding capacity to one organization. They're really looking at it as a catalytic investment in Geauga County, creating a collaborative countywide economic development system that would align public and private dollars, along with education, workforce, and other philanthropic partners around shared goals and a vision for the county. The grant itself is not the story. The story is Geauga County. The funding for a staff position is not the investment. The investment is building a coordinated system here in Geauga County so that we can be prepared for the future. A system that connects business engagement, infrastructure planning, industrial site readiness, workforce development, housing, transportation, regional partners, and so on, along with the accountability. The system requires both GGP and the county to work together to make this happen. GGP already brings the relationships with our local businesses through our business retention and expansion, our workforce partnerships, regional coordination with Team NEO and Jobs Ohio, our grant development, business intelligence, but the county also brings great assets to this partnership. The land use, the utilities, the capital investment, relationships with municipalities, site readiness, and public leadership. And truly, neither of us can do this, accomplish this vision independently. As mentioned, the county brings pieces that GGP cannot offer, and vice versa. Together, we can create something far greater than our individual efforts. From the county's perspective, this is about maximizing return on every public and private and philanthropic dollar invested in economic development. By working together, we can leverage state and federal funding, coordinate regional resources, reduce duplication of effort, and make more strategic investments that strengthen Geauga County's tax base while preserving the character of our communities. And that's where the real investment comes in. Success isn't measured by simply recruiting more businesses. Success is measured by local companies choosing to stay here and expand here, and Geauga County having the resources to make that happen. A community filled with businesses that provide family supporting wages should be our joint goal together. Thoughtful development that respects our communities, investment in existing industrial commercial areas, a stronger commercial tax base, that's what we should be preparing. A county that is better positioned to compete for opportunities over the next 20 years than it is today should be our focus. Commissioners, I believe that every generation has the opportunity to make one investment that changes the trajectory of a community. I believe that this is one of those opportunities, not because it creates another program or adds a position, but because it creates a coordinated system that will continue serving Geauga County long after each of us have moved on. Again, this is not about changing Geauga County. It truly is about creating something and ensuring that the next generation has what they need to live, grow, and start businesses here in Geauga County. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, I'll just, I want to note something. You mentioned that you met with 2 commissioners. I think I was one of those commissioners, but I did not meet with another commissioner, so we
Yes.
had separate meetings. Just want to say that for an open meetings disclaimer, because I see that coming like a freight train when you say
Yes,
you
and I
met
did not
with
meet
2 different
with-
commissioners.
Yeah, and I did not personally meet with the other commissioner, but I know that board members had had conversations.
Okay, understood. I just wanted to make that clear, that there was no open meeting violation going on. These were separate discussions that we're having.
Yes.
But could you just, Kim, just summarize like what exactly you're asking the commissioners for folks that didn't have the opportunity to read the proposal?
Yes, so we are looking to create an economic development council in partnership with the county commissioners. We did submit a grant proposal to the Cleveland Foundation in which they are interested in funding for 3 years a large portion of creating this council. So that would include the creation of an economic development and strategic partnerships role at GGP, having a co-led Economic Development Council with the county and with GGP so that we could start pulling together all of the additional resources in the county. So there's a stepped approach. Year 1 really is the development of the council, but years 2 and 3 really start to look at what opportunities are here for the creation of, if it is an industrial site, right? Or it's a high-tech business park. Can we do that? Where is it appropriate? I have companies today that are looking to expand here in Geauga County. They're family-run businesses, been here their entire lives, and they can't expand on their current locations, but there aren't any other opportunities here for them in Geauga County. And we don't want to lose those businesses. Those are businesses that give a lot back to our local nonprofits, to our tax base. And when we lose those businesses, it's very difficult to recruit new businesses to come in. So that's really the premise of this. It's building this very transparent, partnership, collaborative-driven opportunity to move forward. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I mean, and could you just talk specifically what the monetary ask is as well, just to be
Yeah,
direct?
so, yeah, and I'm not asking you to make a decision today on
No,
this.
I
I think
understand.
we're really trying to open up the conversation so that we can sit down. You know, I had, I would hope there would be some partnership financially in this. GGP definitely will be in this. We've been doing this for 16 years without funding from the commissioners. But this is going to require more effort on our part. So we are looking at a stepped-up approach from the commissioners for the first year. If the Cleveland Foundation approves the grant funding, would be $25,000. from the commissioners. For year 2 would be 50, and then year 3 would be 75,000. And then we would evaluate at that point and determine and look at the return on investment that's coming back to the county because of the work that we're putting in, and determine if that makes sense to continue.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the benchmarks that you provided, because I think that would be a way we could see if this was working or if it's not working.
Yeah, we definitely have to have strong KPIs, right? Key performance indicators, strong return on investment. We've got to show what every dollar we're investing into this is going to bring back to the county. So those are important pieces.
John, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I think Commissioner Dvorak said it in an earlier comment. We have one of the best workforces in the state of Ohio right here. Many people that live in Geauga County leave Geauga County and go work somewhere else. I've always been a huge proponent. Those people that know me know that I am a huge proponent of we educate our kids, we get them jobs here in Geauga County, and then they stay in Geauga County. That's my motto, okay? I think this is just one of those parts in the puzzle to help maintain that for the future, not just for today, but for the next couple of decades, to continue to grow our industrial base in Geauga County. And I think Kim said it well from the standpoint, it's not always just bringing other companies in, but it's helping our existing employers. They don't know where to go for help. You've got a new $10 million production line you're putting in, and there's grant dollars out there in this country that a business owner, I mean, he's focused on what he's doing day in and day out. We're the assistants to help them with those kind of things.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I think with a council with this structure, there'd be more communication and less silos, because you hear this, you hear that, but if it comes from, in futuristic, my brain, it comes from the council, everybody in the county knows it's solid information.
Yeah, I mean, I think as commissioners, we need to have a different discussion about what we want to accomplish as far as community economic development in this county. What does that look like for us? Can we do that with our current CD? I don't think so. So then what's the solution? Do we grow within? Do we utilize GGP? Is there a combination thereof? Like, how do we fill in those gaps so that we can accomplish what we want to, so that we're, I think there's a lot of opportunities we're not capturing right now as a county. And so what's the best way to go about those? So I think that's a conversation that we need to have in parallel to this, or perhaps we can really make a decision about where GGP fits in this puzzle, in my mind.
Yeah, and I think the conversation isn't, it's not about who owns economic development, because that's
Right.
not what we're looking to say.
Right,
GGP owns that. It's really about looking where each of our strengths are and where are we best suited to do that work, right? And bringing those together, because the county certainly has certain strengths that we do not have. But I also think GGP has strengths that the county doesn't have. And so it's how do we bring those together in a way that makes sense, that builds trust and transparency, and opens those lines of communication in a way that they've not existed in the past.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the path forward. As Commissioner Dvorak said, we don't want to be silos, we want to be working together. And to your point, I mean, GGP isn't subject to public records request, for example. So if you have a company that's thinking about leaving Geauga County, well, they don't want their workforce to know that, and so that's not a discussion they can maybe have with the county, but that is a discussion they can have with you. So there's certain like legal limitations too, as far as what the county can do and so forth, that I think is an argument for more collaboration going forward.
Great. Any other questions?
I just a couple of statements, I guess, is that I have not had that conversation with you, so it's, I just take it a little bit struggle with hearing the words transparency and accountability where, Geauga County's name ends up on a document and I'm one of the 3 commissioners and am not made aware of it. I don't think that that's right. I think that that's off to a bad start. I think that, I don't agree with the fact that our community economic development can't do a good job. I think that we may have failed on our side of not giving them the resources of what they need to have the right amount of people and the right amount of direction to be able to complete that and possibly work with, GGP and other organizations that look to grow, community economic development. I think that there's a lot of concern as far as public information requests and the nonprofit that, the oversight is how, and the oversight is by who. So I think that that's another, concern of mine, and I think that that's a concern of, our elected, our electoral people that are out there that are voting for us to assure that there's, good things made. So I struggle a little bit of the whole process here is because, I have not had this conversation.
Sure.
And I've run across you a couple times, that I'm sure this was already in the works and didn't hear anything about this. So I struggle with it a little bit. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just, telling you exactly where I stand.
Understandably so, and I take full ownership for that, Ralph. And my apologies for not having you in the loop on that. So I take full ownership for that. But one thing I want to make clear is we're not saying that the Economic Development Department here can't do this or is not good at this.
Well, you're not saying that, but one of our commissioners just said that. And I just want to make it clear that we do have.
Is that what I said?
Yes. You
I
said.
don't think that's what I said.
Well, but know that that's what this is all about is the partnership, right? And building that
Right.
structure for
Correct.
the long term. As far as oversight, that's why we feel very strongly, this is not something GGP does alone. This is a partnership. And so we would have to talk through exactly, and you have every right to want to know exactly how is this going to be overseen and how are we going to manage this. 100%, that's what you should be concerned with, and that's what we would love to work.
Right, but you
with all
understand,
of
like
you
me
on this.
coming into this today
Yep.
is to say, okay, we're gonna get into a relationship with you guys. We've got our name sitting on an application right now, and I was never briefed on it, but you want me to support you. I think that, I've known John for a lot of years, and I know that he's done, he's been the point of the spear doing tremendous things with GGP. So I'll never see anything negative about it because I think that they've helped so many businesses, and I totally agree with your philosophy. We've talked about that multiple times. But it's hard for me to really embrace this when we're here and our name is on something and I, as one of the 3 commissioners, have no knowledge or never was brought up in a conversation, even within our board, to say, hey, do we agree to have GGP put our name on this application? So that's why I'm just saying it's not a shot at anybody.
Understood. Sure.
It's just an honest conversation to have and to say, how does that have a good soft feel going into this when I kind of been blindsided by
Sure.
it? And as far as, with our community economic development, it has been a struggle for multiple years, just based on the fact that it's been an area that we have not probably invested into it what we should have and what we maybe can in the future to possibly do that. But I still think that there should be some form of a governmental oversight that has our own division that can be accountable to the taxpayer.
I agree. Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, I mean, you're not trying to take away the
No.
community economic
No,
development.
not
and
at all.
I don't think that's part of the
No.
proposal at all. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to me, the next step is that we commissioners, we need to have a work session where we talk about what we want economic development to look like in this county, and what that entails, and who we want doing what. I think to me, that's the next step. I think we should schedule a work session.
And I think the other concern is we've got another commissioner that's going to be entering, the platform as of January 1. And I haven't talked to him of what his feeling is, but obviously he has 2 years attached in addition to what, I and another commissioner has here. So at the end of the day, I think that it would be important to try to have his understanding too, in fairness to him, because, we're, less than, approximately 5 months away from being able to have him on board here. So I just think that I think that the conversation is probably healthy to continue. And at the end of the day, I think it's good to have conversations like this, but I think that transparency truly needs to improve. There's no doubt.
Ralph, is this new commissioner somebody that we can talk to or I can talk to?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Is there a desire by the majority of the board then to have a work session on this topic? Yes?
I mean, I think that we could, but I'm concerned about making decisions on this without, this is a long-term process. We're looking at an investment of multiple years here, right? And I think it needs to make sense, and I would like to kind of maybe have a sit-down conversation with you, Kim, and understand it a little bit better myself.
Okay.
Yeah, to just
Perfect.
try to, formulate thoughts and opinions on exactly what does this picture look like.
Okay.
Because there is a tremendous amount of need, I feel, just talking to so many other small businesses that have approached our county with different opportunities and different plans of being able to have that key person here to be able to also delegate different areas of assistance for that person, of what would make sense for their business or what would make sense for their ideas to try to grow. And I just, I think that I don't think that we're in a position that we want to try to wipe that out, right?
Yeah.
Because
And
that's
neither
not.
are we.
Yeah, so there's a concern there, and I think that, we just need to look at what's the best for everybody and everything moving forward, and for obviously our business community too.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, of course. I'll follow up with you and we'll get
Yeah.
something scheduled.
Okay, sounds good.
Commissioner DeVore, do you have any comments or thoughts about a work session?
I'm open for a work session.
Okay.
And I did read the proposal a couple days ago. It's in like 6 pages. And that's what I learned after I read it about the Cleveland Foundation. So nobody called me up or anything else, but I read it because I got the email and printed it out. Took it home, read it a couple times, so.
Do we have any preference on just rough ideas of when you'd like to have this work session? We can certainly look at dates.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it sooner rather than later. I mean, this is something I feel like I've tried to push to a head for a while now, and I'd like it to be resolved.
When you say resolved, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I think we need a plan for what economic development looks like in our county and what part that our county does, what we let GDP do, and how we work together to accomplish that. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about like a strategic vision for how we're going to accomplish these goals.
Because I think that my only struggle is that, I understand the whole part of, but what is the actual process? That's, I get it. Everybody wants to, play kumbaya and play good together, but it's like, what is the actual benefits that GGP is going to bring to the table for us, in the sense that what are the benefits? What are the offerings there for us to be able to say this is a good move for us, to get engaged in this? Because I think that that's my only concern is where, I guess with some examples maybe of like what is that we can bring value to the organization here and to other businesses. And that's the kind of stuff that I think if we had like a list of some of those specific things that we could lay out and say, okay, we would be able to offer this, and this, and GGP could offer this, and this. I just think that then if we could marry those two together, it would make sense for us. But I just, just because of the fact that you guys do kind of your thing, we've done our thing, I just want to be able to hear that. So as far as like a work session, I think that it would be critical for you guys to be involved in that too, to be able to lay out some things. And I think that my personal opinion is I would like to have a little bit of time to be able to digest some of those too, so that I could kind of do some homework prior to that, and ask you questions or ask our, economic development questions, and just be able to just know so that there's no surprises. At the end of the day, we all want the same goal. We all want something that works. And I just think that we can make that happen. It's just, I would like to just be able to kind of get a little bit better understanding of what both sides could bring to the table. That's all.
Of course. Yeah, and I think that's what we could do in a work session. You should have gotten a draft proposal for the commissioners, and with that had an economic development, like ROI dashboard. So those are things that, if you don't have them anymore, I'll get them to you, because those are the pieces that I think are so important, that we can take an investment into this type of work and create 3 to 10 times the return on investment to the community. So that's what I'm talking about, like why we have to work together to set whatever that ROI dashboard is, and then have the accountability, right? So whether it's you want us to come as a council, right? This isn't going to be GGP committee. This is a Geauga County Economic Development Council. Do we come and report to the commissioners once a month, once a quarter? What does that look like, right? And so that's where we have to sit down and just say exactly what our joint expectations are for this process.
I understand.
Okay, we will look, I'll coordinate with you on some dates and times that might work and see if we can pull it all together.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks for coming in.
Item 15, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve the revised organizational chart that reduces the part-time communications media specialist number 1331-1 position from 2 to 1 position to be effective July 21st, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Item 16, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board establish the gas mileage reimbursement to the revised Internal Revenue Service rate of 76 cents that became effective July 1st, 2026 per IRS Bulletin 2026-29 for the departments under the direction of the Geauga County Board of Commissioners.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Last week during session, there was discussion with Christine Lacomiac regarding the MOU, and during that discussion, there was a motion made from Commissioner Dvorak regarding approving the Lake Geauga Recovery Center's request for their recovery house. During that discussion, there was some confusion on what that actual motion was. So I'm just asking the board to amend and clarify the motion from the 14th to read, select and approve the proposal for opioid settlement funds grant cycle 1 from Lake Geauga Recovery Centers in the amount of $50,000 for assistance with the purchase of a recovery house. This will include the remaining funds of $23,000 plus an additional allocation of $27,000 in opioid settlement funds to fulfill the requested amount pending financial processing.
So moved.
Second the motion. And this is just for discussion. This is just to clarify what we did last week. So,
Yeah, I do think it would be good if we know we want to move on something, either any of the commissioners, that we bring that to staff ahead of time so it can be on the agenda, so all the commissioners can be prepared to vote on it, and so that the motion is a proper motion and we don't have to do this process the following week.
okay. Well, this is the third time that we brought this topic up, so
Yeah, but if it was on the agenda, this could have been done the first time, and then we would all know that we were going to be voting on it that week.
okay. Call for vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler. Commissioner Brackey.
No.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Item 18 is board discussion. So I'd like to formalize with the board just your temperament towards doing levy suppression again, especially as we prepare for the Budget Commission meeting on August 17th. So if there's an inclination, then Christy and I can work behind the scenes to prep that. I think I previously had sent over kind of a list of all the levies, just a summation. If you'd like, I can send that again this week just for your review as we kind of try to neck it down and really decide, which ones you have an appetite for suppression or maybe not, not at this time. So just a discussion with you to kind of talk about this mechanism that you have within your control.
And I think that we need to kind of be clear, because I think some of the people were taken, back. I had, I believe that, I had a couple of conversations that, people were like, are we, not moving forward with levies, or what the deal was. But I think it's basically just to clarify the fact that, we're going to fund those within our own dollars that we have in surplus, not that those services are going to be
right,
hindered or not, allowed to happen. So
yes.
So that word, I guess, left some interpretation of what exactly did that mean. So yeah, I would say, we've been pretty healthy with our general fund. So as many as we can to reduce that number down and save our taxpayers' dollars on it, I say that's the route to go.
Yeah, particularly for the qualified levies. I mean, I think for the non-qualified levies, I just would like to know what state funding we're losing if we suppress those levies. Okay.
Commissioner Dvorak, do you have any thoughts?
No, just keep, I'm interested in keep researching it and see what levies can be suppressed.
Okay. All of them that are under our hiring authority.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else for board discussion?
I would like to get the work session on the calendar. I personally think it would make more sense to have an initial discussion just within county government before we bring in GGP, just so we can have kind of that frank discussion without another party getting involved. I think we should decide what are we doing in the county, and then to me, the second part is how do other parties perhaps play a role in that, if at all.
Do the other commissioners have thoughts on structure?
I mean, I think at this point, this is something that's kind of in motion, right? That, we just had a 15-minute, 20-minute presentation with GGP. And if it's all really about transparency and it's about, just asking the questions to one another, I feel like if we would be looking to have a partnership with them, why are we not bringing them in on a conversation, from the beginning? No different than I was left out of all the conversations, right? So I'm here today, and I was not aware of this, and found out that, our name gets signed to a piece of a document that goes for, grant application with Geauga County. We just had this incident, 4 months ago with Berkshire Schools, and you saw how that turned out. It wasn't good. And, we ended up looking like fools because of the fact that we weren't in unity on something. And I think that there's no reason that we can't be transparent.
I don't think it's a transparency issue. I mean, I think it's kind of like working on yourself before you date somebody. So it's like we need to work on ourselves as a county and decide what our plan is before we bring in third parties.
So then why did we have them come in today?
Because I don't know, it was on the agenda.
Okay, but who requested them to come in?
It was a proposal from, a group in the community, just like if there was any other group that wanted to come in and make a proposal to the board.
Right. But I guess, and I just, respectfully, I feel like they would not have put our name on if there wasn't some more in-depth conversations on an application than what, I mean, it's like somebody going to apply for a loan and they put your name on it as a cosigner and you've never talked about it. It's, same thing. I never had the discussion. I had no idea. So if we're that far into these conversations and this is about transparency, then I think they should be at the table. I think they should be at the table because we're now backtracking to have conversations like we probably should have originally before we did this. That's my concern.
Okay, thank you. Very good point.
Yeah, just to be clear, I mean, I didn't give him permission to apply for the grant either, so.
Well, somebody,
That was all news to me as well.
so I'm just saying, and that's a concern. That's a concern. It would be a concern to me if somebody is using our name and putting it on an application and we have no knowledge of it and it's already been submitted. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I think it forces the conversation. I think that maybe that was part of the strategic idea.
Again, when I printed out their proposal, that's the first time I've seen the words, this is like 4 or 5 days ago, Cleveland Foundation. Didn't have any knowledge of it at all until I read the proposal 4 days ago. So it's just the way it is.
So I think that that's a concern. I think that that is a concern. If somebody is utilizing our name to try to extend their level of credit, level of credibility, what have you, that's a concern. And I'm troubled by this.
So I think it's, in my own opinion, as your county administrator, I think this topic is a very deep one. I very much need a consensus from the board on how you'd like to structure this, because as we all know, the board has the obligation to determine the strategic vision for that department, right? Their vision, their goals. How we structure this, I think, is going to be very, very important considering what's on the table. So I very much would like an opinion from the commissioners, if you're willing, to give me that guidance on how this is going to be set up, knowing what your statutory obligations are for setting a vision for CED. That is something I very much desire from the board, to give me that guidance on how to move forward. So I think
I'll start out
Okay.
and tell you this, is that my position is and just what I just heard over the last minute, that I didn't tell them, Commissioner Brakey didn't tell them, Commissioner Dvorak didn't tell them to sign our name. I will not support them. I'm just telling you, if that is the case, that nobody told them to put our name on and they put our name on, I got a real problem with this. And it's a real concern. As far as moving forward, I don't know, I can't speak for what the other new commissioner was going to do, but I can tell you based on the fact of just what I know of him, with his structure of his military background and how he is all about accountability, I don't think that he would probably support it either. So I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I can tell you that that's a concern, that would probably be a concern to him, just based on the fact that what I've seen of his structure in the past. So I'm struggling with this, I'm not gonna lie to you, because it's a big deal, you know, and it was the Berkshire thing, that was a whole different scenario, because we had a situation where Jim was involved in that conversation. At least we had a commissioner involved in that conversation, and Jim had signed some documents. But at least there was somebody on board of one of our board members that had basically put a signature on it. I didn't agree with it because I think that the other two should have known. But in this situation, if we truly have all three commissioners that were just as surprised as I am, it's a problem. It's a problem.
So, I mean, we can go back to sort of the basic foundation, which is the commissioner's obligation to provide that department with a strategic vision. That is the bare minimum. Now we have layered on top of that a GGP proposal. So what's on the table is going back to the basics, which is the board providing that department with a strategic vision, an overarching, like, this is the direction we'd like you to head. GGB being a part of that could be another layer or the next layer. So I'm just giving you alternatives on how to break this issue into parts. We can start with the very basics, or we could throw it all on the table and see how it shakes out.
I I mean, I think we should start with the basics, obviously. And what I think would be helpful would be for Gina, the department, to bring us kind of a menu of ideas of, hey, here's what we're doing now. This is the current scope of the department. Here's how that scope could be expanded. Here are some things that other counties are doing. This is what they're getting involved in. Particularly counties similar to ours. I think that sort of would be helpful to sort of have a menu of options of how the department could expand if we wanted it to.
Okay. Commissioner DeVore, do you have thoughts?
I agree, we should meet with our own economic development people and pick and choose, enlighten us on what you do and what you can't do and what your weaknesses are and your strengths, so.
Okay.
And I think that in light of what I had just heard, I think that at this point I would support a discussion just with us because of the fact that what I just heard, that nobody gave them permission, totally changed my mindset on this and my position of support. So I think that we need to figure out how and what we need to do to support within our county a strong economic development department that has great ideas and great opportunities and be able to try to focus on what needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of talent in the department already, and how do we best utilize that? And I mean, we have talent within our county, certainly. How can we keep the businesses that are here? How can we create an atmosphere where they're able to expand here? And keep that conversation going, I think is.
And I think because it's also a public meeting, right? A work session is a public meeting, that they can certainly be in the audience and listen to our dialogue. There's nothing that prevents that from happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I thank you very much for that direction. It helps me greatly in shaping what's next for you. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's an hour meeting at least.
At least.
Without bringing in GGP at
exactly.
all. So I think keeping it tailored kind of just to that strategic vision for the department is where we need to hone in first.
Get our house in order first.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further for board discussion unless you do. Anything from the commissioners?
No, thank you, Amy.
Getting back to the Berkshire thing, Andy Hop was with me every meeting that I went. We did some virtual meetings from Andy's office, and the document, it wasn't really a document, it was just like, whoever is in the room, would you like to sign this to prove to the state that go ahead and try to get this money, grant from the state of Ohio for the sidewalk, Safe Route to Schools program. And that's all I signed. It wasn't about any money, it's just that I was a commissioner at that meeting, and it's like, hey, go for it. If you can go for a grant from the state of Ohio for these sidewalks, go for it. And then as months go by, it kind of fell apart, so. Nothing else for discussion.
Okay. Okay, moving on to 19, public comment. Those wishing to make a comment or ask a question on matters of concern, please raise your hand to be called upon. Begin by stating your full name and township or municipality, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to comment or ask a question, and are kindly asked to refrain from disorderly or disruptive conduct.
Hands up in the back. State your name and where you're from.
Howard, South Russell Village. This week, starting yesterday, was the week of Geauga Camp, Liberty Camp Geauga, USA. A program that's been in effect for about 15 years. 1,700 young people have been told about America. Especially now with the 250th anniversary of the founding of America, it's very important. The program runs all week. We had to cancel it today. Friday afternoon, Friday morning is when the students that are learning about America come and visit with their parents. And they bring the Declaration of Independence, which they have signed personally, and give it to their parents. The British flag comes down. Good. The American flag goes up. Parents are more interested, I think, than even the children. I can't go to all these programs anymore, but I will be there Friday, and I strongly recommend if anybody ever has a chance to see what Linda O'Brien and her staff have put together is amazing, because this is the type of people we want to have here living in Northeast Ohio. Side comment, NOAC is not giving us any money in South Russell Village for the bike path. It was canceled yesterday.
Good.
And there's other problems coming up too, but they'll be handled in the future. Thank you for allowing me to speak here today, and hopefully anybody that can go and visit with Liberty Camp should go. It's a moving experience. And again, thank you very much for having the ability to talk about it.
Didn't you used to play King George, Mr. Howard?
Excuse me?
Didn't you used to play King George for Liberty Camp?
I played King George, John Paul Jones, Marquis de Lafayette. I've done about everything they needed me to do, and I'm sorry I can't do it anymore, Carolyn, but the thing is, I will be there on Friday, though.
Okay.
And I'm amazed at the amount of work that can be done, and what they did on Lake County just recently, and then starting today. And there's so many fine people that I meet periodically, and hopefully we can keep Liberty Camp going for many years into the future. Because as long as I can get there, I'll be there on Friday and watch the Declaration of Independence. One last comment, and I'll just leave. Usually, in the middle of the week, we have to bring the youngsters in and show them how to sign their names, so they can sign their names in ink on the Declaration of Independence. Because unless they're homeschooled, they don't learn it in school today. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have the Declarations of Independence to present to the parents on Friday. Again, sorry I talk so much, but I'm very involved with Liberty Camp and very involved with Geauga County too.
Yeah, thank you, Howard.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all of you.
Would love to hear your French accent sometime.
Not very pretty.
Anybody else for public comment? Go ahead.
Anastasia Nicholas, Sugar Valley Times. I wanted to ask Commissioner Spitaleri what changed your mind about giving the money to the Lake Geauga Recovery Home. You previously said you heard a lot of feedback about the home, implying that it was negative feedback, and in later meetings you changed course. So I was just wondering, did you receive new information or?
Yeah, I talked to a number of people. I talked to the sheriff in great length about it, and it seems like that was, it's definitely a needed piece for some of this recovery, and it's, the other part of it too is our hands are somewhat tied also, because they can buy homes anywhere. They could buy a home next to your house, and there's really not a whole lot that you could do, So I think that it's, I think that it's important to understand that there's, people that need help, and there's opportunities out there to try to help them, and we got to try to do what we can do at this point to try to make that happen. And some things, it's the hill to try to go after and die on, and that just wasn't the one for me.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Can I have 3 minutes? Actually, didn't come up here. You got 3 more minutes. Can I have 6 minutes? We got 2 people.
He gets his own minutes. And the good boy gets his own minutes too.
So I haven't been up here. I just want to be like, hey, I see everyone again. This is socks. Actually, socks came from Lake County Dog Shelter, and that was the situation they had with the air conditioning. So we ended up keeping socks. Socks is a little nervous every once in a while. Took in the Anastasia, but and situation. But we ended up taking her. We are working with Lake County to see if we could partner and become more helpful with them. So we're working on that. I know Amy and Mark and all that. It's been great. But Socks is about 2 years old, and she is playful with other dogs, and we really are looking for a home for her. We've had her about 3 weeks. Dean is my new deputy. That he is doing great, and I want to introduce you to him. He's really been working on paperwork procedures. He comes from a military background, so obviously he knows what to do and how to do it. So I just wanted to introduce you to him and Socks, and hopefully get one of them adopted. But I just want to thank you guys all for everything that is going on. I think that we got some exciting things coming in, and hopefully we can get these things moving.
Yeah, I wanted to say just a few nice words about Matt. He's done a really great job in helping Lake County and reaching out to them and just kind of being available and supportive. And not just with Lake County, but with all the surrounding counties. Matt just has a wonderful reputation. So I just want, any chance I get to say a few good words about your operation, I will. So he's been doing a great job.
Good word about him.
3 minutes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm going to say yes. Listen,
She can use the rest of your.
Please, God save
I had his private cell number, and he told me anytime, because we have the same address, and he goes, anytime you need help, call me. And there were pit bulls attacking pit bulls under a trailer, nothing. And then they went after the owner. I called him, and he was there within 3 minutes. And I thank Matt for doing that.
I thank you for everything you guys do. And I thank the commissioners and all the staff, and Amy and Mark, and even the directors for giving us that, and even the media for giving, moving on and moving forward and being all positive for us. So thank you all. Thank you. I don't know about him yet. He's still under probation. So. Again, I can sell him for a good price, I might. But thank you. I appreciate everyone. And let's go. Are you ready?
No, not yet. I have to pet Socks before the meeting, after the meeting adjourns, so
okay,
don't go too far.
We'll be in back here. Though.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I have nothing further, commissioners.
Anything?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.